China panicked. U.S. sides with Philippines and sends second Typhon missile battery to Philippines. Manila, Philippines. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, has welcomed reports saying that another mid-range capability, MRC, Typhon missile from the United States Indo-Pacific Command in Bagong is already on its way to the country. According to AFP spokesperson Colonel Francil Margareth Padilla, this would help their personnel train more effectively. This is a welcome development for the armed forces of the Philippines. We can say that the more the merrier. So the more assets that we have, the more also that we are able to train more personnel on our part. So we accept this willingly, Padilla said in a press briefing on Tuesday. We welcome events like this because this would help our personnel train faster. So we welcome if it will arrive, Philippine Army spokesperson Colonel Louis D. Moala said. Defense News, a leading global publication specializing in defense journalism, reported last week that the U.S. Army's 3rd Multi-Domain Task Force Unit is readying its Typhon battery for deployment in the Pacific Theater. If this happens, it will be the U.S. Army's 2nd such missile system to enter the region, according to the report. The first U.S. Typhon missile arrived in the Philippines on April 11, 2024, and was first used during the Bagong exercises. It has stayed in the country since, and was last spotted in Ilocos Norte, a coastal province facing Taiwan, deemed by China as a renegade province subject to reunification. AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. said he wanted the Typhon missile to stay in the country forever, and that he hoped the Philippine government could acquire its own. In February this year, the Philippine Army conducted the next phase of its combined arms training exercise for MRC missiles in their drills. The Typhon is in preparation for the annual Salaknib exercise between the armies of Manila and Washington, which already kicked off in Fort Magsaysay, Nueva Ecija on Monday. China alarmed as U.S. keeps Typhon missile system in Philippines. China responded with alarm this week to reports that Washington and Manila have jointly decided the U.S. Army's Typhon missile systems will remain in the Philippines indefinitely as a deterrent against Chinese aggression. Despite a July announcement that the Typhon missiles would be removed before the end of September, it was announced by Philippine military officials on Wednesday, September 25th, that the missile systems will stay in the country, reported AP. China called the decision to leave the missile systems provocative, suggesting it sparks a regional arms race, per Asia Times. On Thursday, September 27th, a spokesperson for the Chinese Ministry of Defense, Zhang Xiaojing, said the moves will heighten tension in the region. The systems, capable of firing Standard Missile, 6 and Tomahawk land attack missiles, were deployed to northern Luzon in April this year for the joint Bagong military exercises. For the time being, the missile systems will likely stay in northern Luzon until at least April 2025 for the next Bagong exercises. Reports indicate the Philippines government hopes to maintain the defensive system as a permanent deterrent. The armed forces of the Philippines are reportedly interested in acquiring the missile systems for themselves, per Business World, amid reports that Japan is mulling the possibility of hosting U.S. Typhon missile systems. Zhang also warned Japan not to bring a wolf into the house and place itself in danger. China's concerns over the deployment of the Typhon missile system in the Philippines reflect broader regional tensions as the U.S. strengthens its military presence in Asia. Beijing has repeatedly criticized Washington's increased military cooperation with Manila, viewing it as part of a broader U.S. strategy to contain China's influence in the Indo-Pacific. The decision to keep the missile system in northern Luzon is seen as a significant shift in the Philippines' defense posture. Previously, Manila had been cautious about allowing long-term deployments of U.S. missile systems, fearing it could escalate tensions with China. However, rising security concerns, particularly in the South China Sea, have prompted the Philippine government to adopt a firmer stance. The Typhon missile system, developed by the U.S. Army, is a highly mobile launcher capable of firing long-range missiles, including the Tomahawk and the Standard Missile-6. Its presence in the Philippines significantly enhances the country's deterrence capabilities, as it can target threats across a vast range of the Pacific region. In response to the decision, China has warned that the continued U.S. military presence could destabilize regional peace and provoke an arms race. The Chinese government has urged the Philippines to reconsider its alliance with Washington, emphasizing that diplomatic solutions are preferable to military buildups. Meanwhile, the possibility of Japan hosting similar missile systems has further fueled Beijing's concerns. Japan, a key U.S. ally, has been strengthening its defense capabilities in response to growing regional threats. If Tokyo proceeds with hosting U.S. Typhon missile systems, tensions between China and Japan could escalate, further complicating regional security dynamics. Despite China's objections, the Philippines and the U.S. appear committed to deepening their defense ties. The presence of the Typhon system in northern Luzon signals a strategic shift, reinforcing Manila's alliance with Washington while sending a strong message to Beijing about the Philippines' determination to protect its sovereignty.